Hey there, it's good to see you. And stop. Let's try this again. Hey there, it's good to see you. And no, you're not rewatching an old video. Instead, you're watching a remake for this video, which was made 2.5 years ago and was my very first video where I provided commentary. Damn, I'm getting old. Anyways, welcome back guys. As I just said right now and in the title, we're going to be taking a look back at the various crossovers and references that the Yakuza series has had with various games, whether they were small or big. I'll look back at the ones we had covered previously, as well as providing ones that were missed in the original, as well as looking at the many new entries that came out after my original video was uploaded. Everything you're going to see is a redo of my original, so I won't just be copying and pasting my previous video into this, unless it's for certain segments. Well, with that being said, we'll begin by talking about the game that has been closely connected with Yakuza for a while. Virtua Fighter is one of the oldest fighting games to exist, which inspired several other games including Tekken, Dead or Alive, Soul Calibur, and several others. This series has been featured several times, with them being advertised on different posters on the walls, as well as them being playable with arcade cabinets. There are also slot machines in Yakuza 3 themed after Virtua Fighter. Later on, Virtua Fighter 5 Ultimate Showdown had DLC that included outfits of characters from the Yakuza series, such as Kiryu, Ichiban, Majima, Nishiki, Saejima, and much more. Music from the series was also included with this DLC, all of which can be seen on screen right now. Moves from the Virtua Fighter series also have appeared in Yakuza games, which I will showcase now. While this may be just another case of reused content, it feels appropriate for these moves to be featured in some way. I said a while back in my original video that Tekken 8 may feature a Yakuza character in some way, as there still hasn't been any Yakuza representative in any type of fighting game. But with them being on season 2 of characters already, the chances are starting to decrease. But now that there's another installment of Virtua Fighter coming up soon, maybe they might finally be able to get a chance to be in a game, or so I hope. Taiko no Tatsujin is a rhythm-based game where you hit the taiko drums in 2 different areas to the beat of the song that plays. Arcade and home release versions of the game have been made. Yakuza 5 features an arcade cabinet designed after the actual model of one of the cabinets, that can be played with several different songs available to you. Unlike Virtua Fighter, this game is actually a Namco IP, which is a strange way to have a crossover with another franchise. The DS release of Taiko no Tatsujin features a Yakuza song, specifically a karaoke song, that being Machine Gun Kiss. version that is used is Kiryu's version, and I'm sure I don't have to tell you, but as the song progresses, little versions of the characters appear on screen, and they are based on their Dead Cells variation for some reason. Maybe because that was the latest game featured at the time, not including Yakuza 5 obviously, so they likely just went with that. That and the song appears in that game as well. And I bet you're wondering, have I changed my mind about the best karaoke song since last time? Well...
No.
Kill this dumb motherfucker!
I know. But guys, it's not my fault, okay? It's not my fault that Shinada has the only good song in the entire series, along with that being his only song that he sings. I mean, let's be real here. All of these other songs suck. No questions asked. Binary Domain is another game that was developed by RGG Studios, which is a third-person shooter taking place during the year 2080 in a futuristic Tokyo, where you combat against a futuristic robotic threat. Much of the world is uninhabitable due to a worldwide flood, where robots are then created and used as the main labor force, which then leads you and your squad needing to terminate them. The game features DLC characters that replace the protagonist and Marshall, with them being Yakuza characters, although this is only simply a skin, so the character's voice remains the same. This was also only a Japanese exclusive, so unless you live there, you're not really going to be able to play this. The Yakuza characters you play as would be the same ones from Dead Cells, showing that there is some type of connection there, as they also wield guns in that game. Thought that was a cool little detail.
Damn it! Busted already. Got a visual on 6. 7. They're flanking us.
Major, we're under attack. How about some ground support?
This is what we pay you for, Botang. Just get to that rendezvous point.
You're expecting anything different?
Not since they started calling you the survivor. Worst day of my life.
Hey, wasn't my idea. Move out!
Sonic Racing Crossworlds is the semi-sequel to the previous Sonic kart racing series, Sonic and Sega All-Stars Racing, which is a kart racer akin to Mario Kart that features characters from the Sonic franchise as well as some other franchises such as Hatsune Miku, Joker, SpongeBob, and of course the most iconic character in the Sega lineup, Alex. One of the most recently released characters is a Yakuza character, that being Ichiban Kasuga. With Yakuza 7 featuring an obvious Mario Kart parody, it makes the most sense for him to be featured as a character in this game, as seeing anyone else in this position would probably look a little too out of place, but honestly after Pirate Yakuza's ending, I guess that isn't saying much. A few tracks from 7 also play exclusively for Ichiban, such as the Battle Victory theme playing at the end of a complete race, and the Scenario Battle theme playing during the character select screen for him. He of course also has his own cart that he can use. Overall, probably the most fitting Sega DLC character, next to Hatsune Miku. Later Alligator is a point-and-click adventure game where you play as a detective trying to solve a mystery, that being an attempted murder on your client from one of his family members, your client being this little gator guy here named Pat. Throughout the game you explore Alligator, New York City, interviewing several characters and playing various minigames alongside your investigation. An interesting character you encounter is called the Knife, who bears a striking resemblance to another character, but I don't think you heard of this guy. You can speak with him, and a minigame you play with him is a dating simulator called Mac That Knife, where he practices going on a date with you due to his social anxiety and wanted to help improve his social skills with you. The art style shifts from this cute little cartoony art style to more of a detailed anime look, kind of similar to Doki Doki Literature Club. And it clearly changes to a dating simulator, with the dialogue options and all. You can go to different places with him, such as the botanical garden at the school the Knife works at, and even out to dinner with him, with your character somehow being prepared for it. But it's a fun little reference, with even other little references mixed in, such as an actual date that the friend of the Knife's hooked them up with, who is apparently a real dragon in the Dojima. Ho ho, okay. Damn. And, oh. Alright, I think we should move on now. This is getting a little too fucking... Project Cross Zone is a sequel to another game that was a Japanese exclusive on the PlayStation. This game features a variety of characters from Capcom, Namco, with some Nintendo representatives, and of course, Sega. This game was a strategy RPG where you battle a variety of enemies from different franchises along with some original characters. Each playable unit has pairs, so you technically play as two characters when you enter a battle. There are pairs such as Ryu and Ken from Street Fighter, Akira and Kagemaru from Virtua Fighter, Kazuya and Jin from Tekken, Chris and Jill, Dante and Virgil, and so on and so forth. But the pair that is the focus for this video is Kiryu and Majima. These two you actually get pretty early on in the game during Chapter 2, which is appropriately titled Like a Dragon. The stage feature for them is actually the destroyed Kamurocho from Dead Souls. There are two versions, one that takes place around Theater Square and the other around Millennium Tower. The moveset these two have incorporate attacks from the main series and from Dead Souls 2. Moves such as the bounding throws, Lotus Flare Fist, the iconic kick, and even a reference to the Dead Souls type heat action appear through a variety of attacks. The music that plays also include a version of Funk Goes On, and Kiryu's battle theme from Dead Souls. Lots of iconic bosses from different franchises appear in here, and they do have enemies from Dead Souls. Unfortunately, despite this game coming out after Yakuza 0, no styles from that game are represented, which is a shame, but it was likely a bit late into development already and they didn't want to rework the characters all that much. But still, it's pretty well done nonetheless. Among Us, one of the games of all time. In this game you play with other players online to complete a variety of tasks as part of your role as a crewmate. However, there is an imposter pretending to be one of your kind, and it's secretly a monster out to sabotage and kill off the actual crewmates. It is then the crewmate's job to identify the imposter among you and vote him off the ship to save your lives before they get to you. This game features cosmetics that you can obtain, including outfits and hair of different Yakuza characters like Kiryu, Majima, Ichiban, and so on and so forth. A small trailer for this was also created, which is an animation made by the Among Us team for Bakamitai. It's a very cute little animation. A Hat in Time is a 3D platformer where you play as the adorable Hat Kid, a space traveling girl on a mission to collect pieces for her ship after they were lost, so she could return back to her homeworld. There are a variety of different worlds to explore, and one of these is a DLC world, called Nyakuza Metro. There, I said it. You happy now, It Dance Pants? Huh? Does that make you feel better? Nyakuza. Oh, Nyakuza. Yeah. How about I knock you the fuck out, huh? Calling me a coward? Who the hell do you fuck? Sorry about that. I got a little carried away there. I do apologize. In this DLC, there is a hidden area of the map that you can access, with some platforming of course. Up on top of this area, you can come across a manhole covered by a sewer lid. After you approach it, a dialogue box appears saying Kiwami means extreme. I think we know where this is going. Afterwards, a strange cat comes out and says,
You've grown soft! Time to bring out your fighting spirit!
Hatkid-chan? That's oddly familiar. Who else is kind of a psychopath, loves to stalk his victims, and also loves hiding in sewers? That's right. It's Pennywise!
You want penis enlargement pills?
Nah, it's just this guy named Majima. Who cares about him? After you speak with him, you fight him using a bat you obtained in the metro from another cat. And as soon as you land the final strike, you kill him. Yep. You kill him. No end quote, no reward, no secret cutscene, no special dialogue of some sort. He just dies.
Entering the black void that we're all subject to, where we will meet our true fate in the afterlife, and spend eternity meeting past loved ones, or forever burning in the fiery pits of hell.
Cute little reference. Let's move on. Astrobot was PlayStation's latest attempt at a mascot platforming game, something that I feel hasn't been seen in a long time with them, and they did a really good job with it, I think, taking the character and throwing it into a game with multiple worlds to be explored. And not only that, but each world has a variety of characters that are well known in PlayStation's history, and can be taken to the main hub world in the game where each one can be seen doing something affiliated to their franchise. Several bots like Raiden, Wesker, Kratos, Sackboy, Spyro, who's just Spyro, he's not even a robot, along with many more. One of these, of course, being Kiryu. He stands in front of the gate of Kamurocho, just standing there. After you hit him though, he drops several items that Yakuza fans will recognize immediately. Mahjong titles, a microphone from karaoke, along with several weapons you can use in the game. This one's a cute little one. It was cool to see all these characters all interact in some way, shape, or form. Persona 5 is the 5th installment of the Persona series, which is a spin-off from another series called Shin Megami Tensei. In Persona 5, you take control of a high school student named Joker. Not his actual name, by the way, just what he was codenamed, who was transferred over to Shujin Academy in Tokyo after being framed for an assault he did not commit. The game spans over a year in the game, living out your days as an average high school student. That is until you reach the metaverse, meeting your cat companion Morgana, and gain a persona, where you also create a vigilante group, the Phantom Thieves, where you all set out to stop corrupted adults' desires and change their hearts. Also, a little off topic here, but what is it with Japanese high school students in media that are willing to risk their lives doing all of this shit? Like, don't you have a fucking GPA to worry about, man? Is, like, seriously? I mean, you're really gonna be out there saving the world? Hell no, dude! Get back to your dorm room and fucking do your homework! That's what you should be doing, not any of this shit! And also another curious question, what's the obsession with all these high school settings in these games, and just anime in general? And I want to hear from actual fans of Persona, not from the ones who play the game just because they want to fuck Morgana, okay? Anyway, let's continue. In front of a movie theater, Makoto will notice a poster for an upcoming movie called Dragon Like a Yakuza, a movie she desperately wants to see, but she has no one to see it with. You offer to buy tickets for her, but she says it's fine and it's just something that simply caught her eye. Sure. You can also watch that same movie, and apparently the movie is about some Yakuza who avenges his boss after he was shot. I see.
You try to cut ties with me, then you come back for more. I'll kill you.
Boss, no, that bastard shot him. Boss!
Featured in another spin-off of a spin-off, this time being Persona 5 Dancing in the Starlight, The game features outfits for various Yakuza characters that can be placed over the main cast. Just another outfit DLC, nothing too crazy. There's also another reference in Yakuza 7, with Zhao's voice actor, as Goro Akechi from Persona also voices the same character. Apparently something in regards to pancakes, I'm not exactly sure. I never played Persona, so I don't really know the real reference here, but pancakes, I suppose.
Dragons. The snake-like ones are the Eastern-style dragons.
Huh. How about that?
Hey, sounds like you really know your stuff.
All right, wise guy. And what's the difference between a hotcake and a pancake?
Let's keep it to dragons. Breakfast ain't exactly my forte.
He actually made that sound kind of cool.
Pancakes. I don't want to hear that word again for a long, long time. Well, we're all fans, since that's what helped us figure out your bullshit.
In Yakuza 4, of the many sub-stories you can do, Kiryu has one where he meets the members of the colored gangs from the first game, with the end of the sub-story featuring the Akai brothers from the Bloody Eye gang. They seem to have redeemed themselves and instead work in the film industry, the adult film industry. Interesting. Good for them, I suppose. After some catching up, they provide you a copy of one of their films, which is titled Gals Gone Wild in Yokosuka, Ryoku Hazuki, age 18, Sagittarius. Ryo Hazuki is the main protagonist of the Shenmue series, the predecessor to Yakuza in a way. Shenmue is an open-world action-adventure game that features combat and detective elements, as Ryo searches for his father's murderer. While this is a fun little reference, I don't think I'm dying to know the details of that video, and it may be better off never knowing for everybody. Another reference coming from a Yakuza sub-story, in the sub-story Crisis on the Crapper in Kiwami 1, you can encounter a man in need of assistance on the toilet, which is the need for toilet paper. He then asks for you to retrieve some for him. While it is a bit disgusting at first, Kiryu of course helps the man since he's just that nice of a guy. And so, Kiryu sets off on a big adventure to retrieve this rare item this man longs so much for. Don't worry, sir, I'm gonna get you those pocket tissues. There's nothing here. Of course. Gotta get back to the taxi. Are these zombies? Where the fuck did they come from? Fuck you, zombie. Piece of fucking shit. Sorry, Nishiki, but I got a job to do. But don't worry, Kamurocho's not too far from here. I'm gonna get those pocket tissues, regardless of whatever it takes. There's gotta be a boat around here somewhere. I'm coming for that ass pocket tissues. Oh yeah, I'm gonna get those pocket tissues in no time. The tour guide did not mention anything about fights, and still no pocket tissues. I'm never gonna find these pocket tissues. Wait a minute. That's it! I need to find a time machine, and I know just where to look. More zombies? Are you fucking kidding? I hope this works. There they are. Finally. I've never been so happy to see pocket tissues in my life. Alright, let's go home. After endless hours of searching, we finally provide him the pocket tissues, where he finally reveals himself. Wait, more? You need more? Oh, I'm not gonna play this game with you, buddy. Oh, I know where this is going. You're gonna have me go, and you're gonna have me come back, and you're gonna have me go again. Oh, no, I'm not playing that game with you. You know what? Let me just... Okay, like that. Paste that there. Okay, there we go. That's much better now. After finishing his business in the bathroom, he reveals himself as Rokaku, and is also the CEO of Rokaku Bank. His name is based off of a character from Jet Set Radio, that being Goji Rokaku, who is the main antagonist.
This is DJ Big Goji, bringing you a special broadcast of supreme culture, Rokaku Bonsai Radio!
Jet Set Radio is an old action-adventure game focusing on extreme sports and 3D platforming, performing tricks, spraying graffiti around the city, and evading police. While this is a minor reference and isn't anything too substantial, it's a nice little funny substory with a good little reference for Jet Set Radio fans. Exclusively to the Japanese version of Everybody's Golf 6, also called Hot Shots Golf World Invitational, Kiryu is a DLC character that you can get alongside Pac-Man and Katayama. He has some unique voice lines and even performs some sweet moves after getting a good shot with him, even sometimes bringing on a microphone, although he doesn't actually sing, but rather he just says a single word from a karaoke song, Setsugeka, which is from Kamurocho Lullaby. He's also a bit stubby to fit in with the other character models to not look too out of place, so he just looks kind of funny. But it's still Kiryu in the flesh, and that's all that matters. If you loved those golf sections from the Yakuza games, this is the game for you then. Fist of the North Star Lost Paradise, also called Hokuto Kakotoku in Japan, was the first game in the series where they had a major crossover. While this game is a Yakuza game at heart, with the gameplay being identical, just having unique moves in relation to Kenshiro's fighting style with many iconic moves, the story focuses on an original story made for the game, having many of the characters from the series in it, with all of them being voiced not by their original voice actors, but instead by those who play Yakuza characters, such as Kiryu as Kenshiro, Nishiki/Ichiban as Shin, Yuya as Jagre, Shinada as Rei, and many more. So if you close your eyes, you're just playing Yakuza in the Mad Max world. However, this goes beyond just voice actors and gameplay. DLC later featured Kiryu as a replacement character for Kenshiro, with his model being updated to have an anime-like filter over his character model. So he really is the anime version of Kiryu. If you haven't noticed yet, his character model is a bit stretched to match Kenshiro's height, so he has some long-ass legs. Now we have regular Kiryu, stubby Kiryu, and long Kiryu, the holy trinity of Kiryus. Pretty wild to see Kiryu perform all of the Hokuto Shinken moves, but it's pretty fitting and welcoming, seeing as some of these moves actually made it into the main series, such as Essence of Extreme Rush from Kiwami 1, which was essentially foreshadowing to this game, and while he looks out of place with his 80s style suit, it's even wilder to see Kiryu in these cutscenes casually touching people to death. Wait, that actually kind of sounded wrong. Tapping people to death with simple strikes to their pressure points. But love it or hate it, it fits perfectly with the random vibe that the series always carries, even in spin-offs. These two crossovers will be talked about simultaneously as they not only appear in the same game, but also have some relation to each other. Yakuza Like a Dragon, both in story and gameplay, shares similarities to many RPGs that came before it, with the primary inspiration being Dragon Quest, as it is what inspired the Ichiban games to begin with. Dragon Quest initially released back in 1986, kicking off the JRPG-style games that would release over the years to come. Created by many iconic figures involved in game design, such as Akira Toriyama, Yuji Horii, Koichi Nakamura, and many more. Besides being referenced in some cutscenes, outside of the main story there are several subtle references that you can come across, such as the character sprites during the loading screens being akin to those in the original Dragon Quest games, the karaoke song The Future I Dreamed Of, to even the recruitment of characters share similarities to old Dragon Quest games. The job system utilized in 7 is a direct nod to the job system used in the third installment of Dragon Quest. Even subtle text dialogue are references, such as this one here. When interacting with a dead body in the Dragon Quest games, the character will respond with, "There is no response. It's just a corpse." At some point, Ichiban can come across a drunk person, to which he responds with, "No response. It's just a drunk," along with other references I may have missed in the game. It's impressive to see the amount of references this game has. While Dragon Quest is the main inspiration and most referenced, another popular JRPG that is parodied not only in this game, but also in the next mainline game, is a little indie franchise that you probably never heard of called Pokemon. The Sujimon in these games are a direct reference to that. When you first encounter the degenerate in the fourth sub-story, the sub-story itself is called Who's That Sujimon? After defeating this creep, a man will soon introduce himself as Professor Morikasa, where he'll bring you to his Sujimon Center and collect data on you by having a battle with one of these 3 men, all in different colors, being red, blue, and green. Looking at each segment in this sub-story in detail, the Who's That Sujimon part is a parody of the iconic segments that played before commercials began for the Pokemon TV series. Professor Morikasa has a similar name and occupation to those of the different professors in Pokemon games. His Sujimon Center is just the Pokemon Center. The different colors are based off of the 3 different starter types at the beginning of each Pokemon game: fire, water, and grass. And the Sujidex he provides for you is the Pokedex you get from the Pokemon professors. These would be all the references in 7. However, Ichiban's second main game, Infinite Wealth, expanded on this much more from the time it appeared on my previous video. In it, there's a whole league now dedicated to battling Sujimon and becoming the very best, just like the many Pokemon leagues. They'd also now have a new whole battle system where instead of just collecting Sujimon, you can actually battle Sujimon with your own Sujimon that you've collected. You can even catch Sujimon in raids, while giving them gifts to join your team, just like how you would in Pokemon games with the battles you have with other trainers and the wild Pokemon you catch, especially those in raids. Hell, even the Elite Four are parodied, called the Discreet Four in this game. Not only that, but the Sujimon Sensei even says this. Yep, those are lyrics, based off of the original Pokemon's theme song, Gotta Catch 'Em All. And if you can't hear it, well, let yours truly assist you in that.
You wanna be the very best, like no other Yakuza. To catch them is your real test, to train them is your cause. You must travel across the land, searching far and wide. Can Sujimon become a man? I'll wait here inside. Sujimon, gotta snag 'em all. It's you and them. I know it's your destiny, Sujimon. Oh, you and your friends in a world you must defend.
It seems that Pokemon is Ichiban's new favorite game series now, instead of Dragon Quest. One thing in both of these games though that may be a bit far-fetched to say is that the dungeons in these games may be based off of the Pokemon Mystery Dungeon games. As stated before, Koichi Nakamura was one of the designers for Dragon Quest games. However, he also had involvement with a spin-off series of Pokemon, Pokemon Mystery Dungeon, as that game's producer. In this game, you explore mystery dungeons, a set of different dungeons with mysterious characteristics, as they are not always the same when you visit them another time, where you rescue Pokemon, collect items a Pokemon may have lost, defeat evil Pokemon, or sometimes even get tricked into a damn monster house when you have no heals left and die, only to restart the entire dungeon all over again. God, I hate those missions. But moving on, I believe that the other dungeons in these games may have also inspired those in this game. But again, this may be a bit far-fetched. Dave the Diver is an RPG where you explore the sea, using a number of different equipment to catch various marine life in your travels during the day and manage a sushi restaurant at night, preparing the fish you caught at sea to customers, combining business management and exploration in a single game. Recently last year, DLC was made to add Ichiban into the game, donning his Hawaiian outfit, alongside his companion bartender. Totally not Kashiwagi. I mean, who even is that guy? Probably just some random punk that Kiryu beat up or something like that. Probably nobody important. Ichiban and the bartender head over to Dave's place of work, Blue Hole, to get some food and a couple of drinks. Later the next day on a fishing trip, they encounter Ichiban again, along with the antagonist group, the Sea Blue Gang, a group known for poaching dolphins. Ichiban of course doesn't approve of this and beats the hell out of them. You search for their underwater base, and after finding it, the game switches to a classic style side-scrolling beat-em-up game, similar to Streets of Rage. You can either play as Ichiban or Cobra, and you can pull off all sorts of moves as the characters. You make your way through the underwater base, taking down various enemies and even fighting a boss at the very end. Holy shit, is that Majima? Before you escape as the facility is about to explode. Later on, you then get a whole karaoke segment with Judgment Shinpan. played in the exact style you would in the Yakuza games, complete with visuals and using the cinematic directly ripped from Infinite Wealth alongside a unique cinematic. I love the little icon of Dave wearing Kiryu's suit. I mean, just look at the guy. Before you part ways, you can also obtain some goods, such as Ichiban's Hero's Bat that's somewhere in the sea as a new quest. Of the many crossovers, this one was probably the best executed. There's just so much content that comes with it. It isn't even just this. They've done this with Godzilla and even Guilty Gear. What? You can have a kaiju fight in this DLC. I thought this was a business management game with some exploration elements. What is this? This is insane! But yeah, definitely one of the better crossovers on this list. Streets of Kamurocho was a short game made based off of the Streets of Rage series, which is an old-school side-scrolling beat-em-up game, released all the way back in 1991, featuring the main protagonists Axel Stone, Blaze Fielding, and Adam Hunter, fighting crime through the streets of Wood Oak City. Streets of Kamurocho takes elements from this series, but now places it in the world of Yakuza. This was simply a promotional game for Sega's 60th anniversary, serving as a little fun nostalgic game for various fans. The game only has a single stage that increases in difficulty over time and is specifically based off of the first stage of Streets of Rage 2, but now replaced with Yakuza enemies and bosses, including Laukalong and Nishiki. The characters you can play as are Kiryu, Majima, and Ichiban, although they all have the same moveset, that being Axel's moveset. Once you complete your first run, you then unlock Ichiban. A few tracks were also included, with each character having a unique theme, with Kiryu having Funk Goes On, Majima having Receive You the Mad type, and Ichiban having Yokohama Crack House. I don't like the fact that Ichiban can fight Nishiki in this game. I just feel like that's going to create a wormhole of sorts. And that's the last thing we need in this series. Rainbow Six Siege is a team-based first-person shooter where you complete a specific objective based on the game, either as an attacker or a defender, such as capturing a hostage, defusing a bomb, or even securing an area. The team who either completes their objective or kills off the entirety of the other team wins the match. Some single-player modes also exist as well, although I don't believe these modes are played as much, as there really isn't a campaign like the Call of Duty games. Not too complicated of a game. However, what is complicated was the collaboration done with this game. What do you mean Kiryu is here alongside Sayama and Majima with guns shooting people they don't even know? Because no Yakuza protagonist has ever been involved in any murder whatsoever. Well, there is a reason for this, as apparently these are only simulations and not real missions taking place. At least that's the lore from what I remember. It used to be very different though. Not only that, but these are just the characters Echo and Hibana cosplaying as the Yakuza characters. This simply changes the outfits and provides a weapon skin for the characters, and not much else than that. But at least you can shoot more people as fake Kiryu if you really love those missions from Zero and Kiwami. With Majima being an elite skin for Echo, he also comes with a unique victory animation that plays at the end of every match, which you can see here in this trailer here. Super Monkey Ball Banana Mania is a puzzle platforming game featuring these various monkey characters. This game in particular has featured several characters across Sega's lineup, and among these is little baby Kiryu. Look at him, he's so small! Like a little hamster rolling around in its ball. He was a DLC character you could obtain where you could play as him throughout the game. He has a unique victory animation which is pretty simple, and even the bananas changed to Stamina X bottles. And what do you know? They changed the text from labeled bottles to Stamina X's. Yeah, that's what I thought. You better change it. Labeled bottles, who do you think you are? Nothing much, but at least you get little baby Kiryu, which is pretty adorable looking, not gonna lie. Phantasy Star Online 2 is an online action RPG side MMO set in an open world environment where you combat alien threats with other players battling with real-time combat. This game had DLC where Ichiban and Saiko's outfits could be obtained. You could also get Sakamoto Ryoma as well as Majima's outfit. Ichiban and Saiko specifically have unique variations, with Ichiban being in his hero job and with Saiko being in her matriarch job, with them using their weapons specific to that particular class. Once again, just an outfit DLC with unique attributes. Pop Team Epic is a manga, webcomic, and TV series that features two teenage girls that go about everyday tasks, and are definitely not insane. This series uses absurdist humor that's very random, which fits perfectly with Yakuza's type of humor. Various specials have been made with the two series, from selling merch, special roles and shorts featuring various Yakuza actors, or even advertisements for said merch. Just some small stuff, nothing major like some of the other entries on this list.
よほどもっち膝カンチもっちカンチです今日番組に出演させていただきます盛り上げますのでよろしくお願いしますお願いします錦パンティ錦ちゃいますよもっちカンチですもっこりパンティもっこりしてませんって一旦パンティから離れてくださいそれにしても師匠相変わらずすごい活躍ですね
Samba de Amigo is a motion-controlled rhythm game using maraca-like controllers, kind of like how Taiko no Tatsujin uses the Taiko drum for its controller. In their most recent release, Samba de Amigo Party Central, Bakamitai could be played as one of the tracks in the game, much like every other rhythm game we've covered so far. Once again, just the same track, just with another game. Shinobi Art of Vengeance is a 2D action platforming game released last year. This game is essentially a revival for the series and is in a way a Metroidvania type game. You play as Joe Masashi, seeking vengeance after the destruction of his village. While not released yet, a DLC is set to release earlier this year, featuring Sega villains from different games, including Dr. Eggman, Death Adder, and Majima, to be featured as bosses in the game. You know, I can never tell if Majima is meant to be an antagonist in these games. Sometimes he's a villain, sometimes he's not. Like, dude, make up your mind. With the DLC yet to be released, there's not much else to talk about right now at the moment. I guess look forward to it if you're into that series. Now for the remaining entries on this list, I'm just gonna throw them all into one section since they aren't really big enough to have their own section. We'll first begin by talking about some small references you can find in the series. Yakuza 5 features various manga that you can read, including Attack on Titan and Initial D. These were all removed in the remaster. Hatsune Miku can be seen in several different instances, 2 times in Yakuza 5 with a sculpture you can see in Tsukimino, as well as Haruka being able to wear her signature outfit. Several tracks from various Sega games can be heard when entering a shop in different Yakuza games. You likely have heard at least one of these tracks, but if not, I'll play a few of them for you. In Yakuza 0, there are a few little nods to a couple of different anime series, one being from JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, and another being from the Yu-Gi-Oh! Abridged series. After you fight Amon as Majima, he says something very interesting. What's that Joe guy's deal? What a bizarre adventure. Well, at least the threat to Setsunbori's gone. Yeah, it's a JoJo reference. In the same game, during Kiryu's business management minigame, after you defeat the Finance King, he says this: "The money I made is mine! Nobody could take it from me! The police? Who cares? Screw the rules! I have money!" This comes from this scene I'll show here.
To beat your pasty pharaoh butt with 3 blue-eyes white dragons, that's who.
Wait a minute, did you just summon a bunch of monsters in one turn?
Yeah, so?
That's against the rules, isn't it?
Screw the rules, I have money.
Yeah, a little nod to this parody of Yu-Gi-Oh! Throughout the different games, you can encounter minor Easter eggs and references to other Sega IP. We'll run through them all really quick. Various Sega characters can be found within the UFO Catcher minigame. Other arcade games such as Virtualon, Outrun, and Virtua Fighter stated before can be found around Club Sega. Woody Pop, alongside other classic Sega games, can be played in games such as Lost Judgment and Pirate Yakuza. Puyo Puyo arcade games can be found in the world of Yakuza 6. Various real-life arcade games also featured Yakuza songs, specifically in these two games, Mai Mai and Chunithm, with them both having the same exact tracks, with the games just playing differently between each other. Both games include Bakamitai, as well as the original Outlaw's Lullaby from Yakuza 2. Kotodamen is a Japanese mobile game where you solve puzzles through the combination of words. The game features several characters across different media, predominantly being Sega, as this is a Sega-published game. IPs such as Persona, Demon Slayer, My Hero Academia, and of course, Yakuza, they appeared as characters down the line in the game. Line Rangers is a tower defense game where you send your rangers down to an enemy base to attack, manage resources, and level up. Kiryu, Majima, Akiyama, Ryuji, and Haruka were featured as characters, with Ryuji being an Advent Ranger. Boko and Dragons is an RPG focused on collaborative guild battles, with players teaming up to defeat monsters and complete quests with each other. Very similar to Dungeons & Dragons. The game features 4 unique Yakuza cards, which are shown on screen now. Sega Heroes is a puzzle RPG exclusively for Sega characters. This game contains 4 Yakuza characters, being Kiryu, Majima, Akiyama, and Saejima, with many of them having attacks based on the ones from their original Yakuza games, such as Kiryu being able to perform Essence of Extreme Rush. RGG Online had multiple collaborations with different Japanese properties, such as Baki, Tokyo Revengers, Golden Kamui, and even itself. Man. Mafia City, that dead game I never hear anything about anymore, also had a crossover with Yakuza. I didn't really believe it at first when I first heard about it, but yeah, it's real. It wasn't just some fever dream we had. There's also another game called Dragon Poker, but with this one, I genuinely could not find anything on the game. I tried searching up everything in Japanese, English, every language you can think of, and not a single search result came up in relation to Yakuza characters in the game. So you just gotta believe me with this one, I guess. Earth UFO Catcher features Ichiban as a character you can collect. Just like the last one, I couldn't really find much on this. And for the very last one on this list, this one is an interesting one. On the search engine DuckDuckGo, when searching up Kiryu's name, the mascot in the corner, Dax the Duck, can dress up like Kazuma Kiryu. Wait a minute. Kiryu is a duck? Majima is an alligator and a cat? Oh my god. Are these their personas? Who would have thought they were furries? Nice. Google doesn't seem to do this when I look up Kiryu or any other fictional character's name. You know what? I know what I'm switching my search engine to. Sorry Google, but I'm done with you. Hello again. You made it to the end of the video. Thanks. Well, I finally got to updating this list after 2.5 years. I was told of the various entries I missed and the new ones that came up after my initial video, but I didn't really want to upload a video until I felt there was enough entries to make a sequel or a remake, and with the amount of time that has passed since then, I felt it was appropriate to do that now. I intended for this to come out August of last year, but something happened with the video and my semester was just beginning, so I decided to move it to Yakuza's 20th anniversary. But then a bunch of things happened with the series, and it's just been a little difficult to make videos as a result. But I don't want to go on a whole rant about the series right now. There's time to do that another time. Anyways, thanks for watching guys, and I'll see you guys later. Take care.